What is going on? I'm kind of outside, in town, at our local park on the old, I think it used to be a railway. Used to go out to the main railroad out of town. Goes along the Lackawanna River. But today I want to talk about what I'm doing this week. There's a bug stuck in a spiderweb there. Doing a backpacking trip with Adam Z, Dragon Rooms, and DB Cooper's gonna make it out. This is gonna be the four of us. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're going out to Western PA, and we're doing the Gerard Trail in the Oil Creek State Park. Now you might be thinking, Kurt, you said in previous videos you can't backpack in state parks. That is generally the case, but in Pennsylvania we've got 121 state parks. There's bound to be exceptions. I did not know this was a backpacking trail until maybe a year ago or so. Adam Z said he wanted to go out and do this. And I looked into it, and sure enough, yeah, it is a backpacking backpacking trail in a state park, with some exceptions. So you can't primitive camp. You can't just hike to a spot that you like, set up your gear, and camp there. There are 2 shelter areas. You've got to use those 2 shelter areas. They have camp, like tent sites with them, so you got to reserve a site. So it's kind of nice because it kind of limits the amount of people that are out on a trail for overnights. Right? They know who's going to be out there, so that'll be pretty nice. And it's going to go through a lot of day use areas of the park, so it's going to be a little bit different than just a backpacking trip out in the wild. The trail is 36 miles long, and our big day is going to be day 2, and it's going to be a 16-mile day. So that's maybe a mile or 2 more than what I can recall is my longest single day backpacking. Now I've just day hiked further than that, but not backpacked. So trying to cut my weight down as much as possible on my pack, and since it's spring, I can do that. And I've been watching the weather. The weather's fluctuated for this week. For the past 2 weeks I've been watching it, and looks like we're gonna luck out. Looks like the rain's gonna hold off till the last day instead of thunderstorms all 3 days. But still, that allows me to cut down weight even more. So in cutting down weight and it being spring, I can do away with 4 pounds of gear right off the bat. I don't need to take my axe, my saw, or my chair for this trip. Instead, I'm gonna take just my Mora knife, my new Mora HD that I just got as my knife, and then I will take a inflatable Climate Cush for my chair, and just a ground mat for underneath the hammock. With the warmer weather, I'm also able to drop a little over a pound of weight in just clothing gear. I'm walking down my spot here. I'm going to, and there's been ducks here for the past few days. They started to get used to me, but I'm gonna need this area, guys, today. I'm gonna hang up the hammock. So I'm gonna hang out here by the Lackawanna. So as far as cutting down clothes weight, I'm not gonna take my hoodie. I'm not gonna take gloves. I'm not gonna take any kind of base layer. That's not needed. I'm not gonna take my sleeping socks. I was thinking about taking my Columbia hat or my OR hat to wear under my rain gear, just to help with visibility if it was gonna rain really bad. That's not gonna happen, so I don't have to take that. So that, with all that, that's another pound I'm saving. And then my summer quilts are like 2 pounds lighter than my winter quilts. There's weight savings there. The only thing, there's 2 things I'm gonna go up in weight from my original plan. My backpack, I've got my Teton Sports Summit bag, which is like 3.2 pounds, and I've got my Osprey Atmos 65. Even with a 15 or 14 liter difference between the two, the Osprey is only a pound heavier when I remove the top lid. So I'm gonna take the lid off, and I'm gonna opt for the comfort of the Atmos over the lighter Teton bag, especially with that 16 miles. So that's gonna be a pound more than I could save. And then I was looking at my sleep system and what I was gonna take for that. I had it narrowed down to, I did a whole video on this, and it was an insane amount of information, so I'm really condensing this. My my Coyote pack is only, was it 23 ounces, I think, 23 ounces, like 22 and change, so 23 ounces. And then that steps down. I go to my red tail, my monolight red tail, and then last year I tested what I called lumberjack, which wound up becoming the red tail. And that was only a 9-foot hammock. That only came in at 14.9 ounces. So that was what I was going to use. And then yesterday I got bored and thought about the conversation me and Adam had the other day about, do you need a bug net or not gonna take a bug net? You know, what are the other options? And so I had some spare material laying around, and I decided to make a new hammock, which is kind of fortuitous because the last 3 years I've done a May backpacking trip with Dragon, at least Dragon, and in those last two trips, I tested a prototype hammock in each one of those. So I decided, well, it'd be a shame to bring the same hammock this year, so I just made one. I don't know if it's gonna be a prototype for anything. It's not an original idea. There are hammocks like this on the market. I just wanted to make something different, and it's a good gear test. So I'm going to set up this right now. Look how green that is. And I'm going to show it to you. Like all my custom builds or my prototypes, I name them, and I try to name them for the area that I test them in. Now the original, when I did the Catskills trip 2 years ago with Dragon, I carried what I was calling at the time the Tree Fox. That became the Coyote pack. That was just kind of that's actually a Tree Fox is another name for a gray fox. We do generally get those in PA, so that's why I called it. Last year we were testing on the old Loggers Path, so I called that the Lumberjack. This year, since we're in Oil Creek is where the first commercial oil rig was ever set up, right here in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to name this after a name that they called the oil rig workers, Roughnecks. This is Roughneck. So I'm going to set it up, I'm going to show it to you, and going to get a good test out of it. All right, so I had to move about 50 feet up the river because those trees are too far apart. Kind of forgot I brought my short tree straps here. They're only like 7 feet long, so they barely fit around a tree here. This one barely fit around. But here's a good look at the hammock. This is just a half netted hammock. Like I said, didn't invent this idea. There are versions of these available to buy. I just got bored last night and made this. So some differences from a normal hammock. Obviously the bug net only comes halfway down. I got it affixed to the ridge line here. Ridge line does go inside the bug net, so it is usable. I got a pouch in there. The bug net comes down a little further on that side than this side, but I did add a short zipper to extend it a little bit on this side. So I usually enter the hammock, obviously this will be the head end, but I usually enter the hammock from what would be the right side of the hammock when you're laying in it. So I did this so that when you go to get in it, you've got a little bit more room to sit. Okay, this is about where you would sit, and that net would be in the way. And then inside I've got just a piece of cordage in here with a hook on it so that I can bundle up the net, just kind of pull it out of the way as I'm getting in. It gives me a little more clean access into the hammock. So I'll get in and I will show you from the inside. And if you've never seen a half netted hammock, this might be a little different for you, and I'll give you the reason why it's half net. All right, so sitting in the hammock, you can see with this zipper down, it gives me just a little bit more room to enter the hammock, because I want to have enough space. So I want to have enough space inside that the net wasn't like right here. So I pushed it down this way a little bit. At this end, there is a little bit of netting, and the only thing that does is it serves as an indicator when I'm setting the hammock up, because without the net, this will get twisted up in the bag. And just real quick, I can look and see that I got the right side up on that end. And then even if you're just kind of hanging out, got a little bit of a headrest here with that net. So a little look at the inside. Alright, so I'm in a little close to that tree. Because this is not an ideal spot. This is just where the hammock fit. But I got the net bunched up here. We'll drop it down. And I'll zip this side. And then you just bring the net in and lay it down on top of you. And now, like right now, this isn't going to do my legs a lot of good out there. But when you're camping, you'd have a quilt on. And so what I do, I just take this and I hang it up. It's just on a prusik knot, so I can kind of move that if I need to put a little more tension on that cord when the net's up. A prusik knot will allow that to, I don't know, you can't really see that, but allow that to stay, but it slides easy when you take pressure off it. And I got a decent sized bag here. Did a canoe just go by? Oh no, it's a car in here. With 2 spots. And then up at that end, put them that way so you can see, that's enclosed. So a fair amount of room. So yeah, a fair amount of room in here. You can see, like I said, your quilt would block off the bottom of that. But what is the reasoning for something like this? Well, there's no zippers, and zippers add weight. You got a lot less bug net. Not by much, actually. I mean, there's quite a bit. You're using maybe 2/3 the amount of bug netting to do this as I would with a full net on here, because you got to have enough that drapes down. But the zippers, there's no zipper weight, and when you're really trying to save weight, the zippers are a good thing to get rid of. This little zipper only weighs an ounce. I weighed that. That's a pre-made zipper. It's only 9 inches long. It weighs an ounce, so that doesn't add that much. And this whole thing, it's 10 feet long, so it's a foot longer than lumberjack. And it's actually almost an ounce heavier fabric. The lumberjack's made out of 1.1 ounce nylon, or is it 1.2? It might be 1.2. And this is made out of 1.9, because this is what I had. This was, like I said, I got this on as a remnant fabric, and I got it just in case I wanted to make something new. So even with the heavier fabric and the foot being a foot longer, it's only an ounce heavier. Or it's 1.6 ounces heavier. So for the comfort, now the tree's kind of blocking the view down, blocking the foot end down there, but without a net at the foot end, you can stretch out a little more, especially on the shorter hammock. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. We'll see how it performs. There are quite a few bugs flying around. I had one fly in my eye when I was trying to record before, so between those trees. This is only a 10-foot hammock. So here we go. It's a little bit lopsided. Oh, bug right in the eye. They're not getting in. That's a good sign. But yeah, it'll be a good test for it. Take it out for a three-day trip. I'm excited for that. So yeah, this is 15, right? No, 16.2 ounces. So it's just over a pound, I think. So I'm going to give back a little weight compared to the lumberjack, but I'm getting more comfort out of it. The other thing I'm saving weight on is I made myself a rain suit out of sil nylon. How often are you out hiking and hoping that it rains more? It's, so I can change it, there we go. That's about really how dark it is. It's fairly dark right now. It's threatening to rain, and I'm out here in the rain for a reason. A little rain suit here. See if I can get you a good shot there. The whole thing. So I'm not taking my my frog togs, which is that's made out of like Tyvek, and that thing, that's a pound. I saved a pound just doing that. So I will put on here what my base weight is, because obviously I don't have everything packed up in my pack right this second, but I'll put what my total base weight is. It was, before I made the changes to the hammock and took out the clothes, I was at, I think, 19 pounds, just under 19 pounds. So I'll probably be about the same, because I didn't have my I'm going to put obviously extra socks, extra underwear, an extra shirt in, and then once I get all that packed up, I'll probably be about 19 pounds. Might be a little bit less. Oh boy, messages. Cool. So look for the Gerard Trail video. There'll probably be at least 2 videos, maybe 3 on that. And that should drop next week. And I'm going to sit here and enjoy the hammock for a minute. And I'll see you in the next.